Hello, welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to be designing this control bucket. So start a new part file and we are going to change the units to metric. So I'm going to go into my options, document properties, units, millimeter, and click OK. The next thing we are going to do is select sketch, and I have all my planes. And the first thing we are going to do is just draw this kind of like angle L shape. So I will draw that on the right plane. So I select my right plane. So I'm in sketch mode and I'm going to make this corner my origin point. So that corner is going to be on my origin point. So I just draw a line, something like this. Draw a line going up. Just draw something like an L shape. Something like this. Good. So once we have that, then we can start adding our relations to it. So select this line, holding down the control key, select these two lines and add a parallel relation. So these two lines should be parallel to each other. Once we have all our relation, and make sure that this line and that line, holding down the control key, select both. They should be perpendicular. And the same thing with these two lines, they should be perpendicular. And once we have that, the next thing we need to do is add our dimension. We have the length, which is 140. This line is going to be 140. And we have the dimension here, which is 19. And that is given right there. And we have another dimension here, which is 9. So when you dimension it, it is not a dimension going up like this. Make sure it is an aligned dimension. So you have something going in the same direction as those lines. And that is also 19. So we have that right here. Another dimension we need is this. Again, it is not a straight dimension like that. It is aligned. So make sure you have it aligned. Coming down like that. Click and it is going to be 90. And that is given right here. And we have one more dimension, which is our angle. So we'll select this from this line to that line. And it is going to be 60. Good. We have a fully defined sketch. So the next thing we are going to do is come to feature, extrude, and we are going to extrude it by the mid plane, and the distance is going to be 64. And click OK. So next, we are going to draw this shape up here. Let's click on this face and start a sketch. So I'm going to go number 2. And all we need to do is just draw a circle. Some circle up here. Select the center point of the circle and your origin point and add a vertical relation. So we can bring this line down, the circle down a little bit. Draw a line from this edge going up. So just have a line going up and draw another line from this edge going up. Select the circle and select the line at the tangent relation. And so you should have a you should have a tangent circle touching that line. So once you have that, let's trim off the excess that we don't need. And we'll draw another line down here. So you should have something like this. And let's add a dimension. So the radius here is 32. Good. And the dimension, so let me just select that, it's 32. Good. The dimension is from this point to this edge is going to be 51. And that is given right there, 51. And I need to make sure this sketch is fully defined. So if I move it so you can see what we are creating. So this line is probably not, so I need to add a tangent relation to that line and that circle, and that should fully define everything. Good. So make sure, if I go number 2, make sure you have a tangent relation between this circle and that line, and this circle and that line. And now all we need to do is go to Feature, Extrude. When I change it in the other direction, and the distance is going to be 18. And let's click OK. Next, we can cut the hole in it. So let's select the hole wizard and select position. Select this face and click once to add the hole. And once you add the hole, let's go number 2 and press escape to escape out of adding another hole. Then what we can do is select this circular edge and that circular point and add a concentric relation, because the center of that hole is on the same point as that arc. So that's what we want to do there. Then come back to type, select the first hole, which is a counter bore, and make sure it's a metric, and make sure you have your dimensions. So the first dimension is going to be 19, which is between these two numbers. The second dimension is going to be 32, which is the big hole, and the distance is 9. So once you have all this, and make sure it is going up to next. So if you look at it over here, it is going up to next, and click OK. Good. The next thing we can do is cut this space in it. So we'll select that top face again, sketch, number 2, and we can just draw a center rectangle, something like this. And the center, if you look, it is 11 from this edge to your origin point, or the center point of this circle is 11. So you can just add a dimension from this line to the center point, 11, or you can also do it to the origin point. It's the same. So just to make it clear, let's add the dimension to the origin point. It's going to be 11, and the distance for the entire rectangle is going to be 22. And we can select this line and this edge and make them collinear, and select this top edge, this top arc. Let me zoom in, select that arc and convert entity. And now we can trim the excess out. I may have to add my dimensions again. So I need to add that 22 dimension after I trimmed it off. So from that line to that line is 22. And I will trim this out. So let me move it so you can see what we did. So we just have that shape, and that's what we need. So we have a fully defined sketch. We'll come to Feature, Extrude Cut. We're extrude cutting it down, and the distance is 6. So we change our dimension to 6 and click OK. Good. Next, we need to cut this piece out of this bracket. So let's select this top face again and sketch. Going to go number 2, I'm just going to move it here. And let me zoom in. So now let's draw a shape up here, something like this. Right, good. So we have that shape down there. So we know from this edge to that point is going to be 11. That is given down here. And we know from this edge to that edge to that point is going to be 42. And that is given right here. The angle is 30. So it's saying from this angle to that line, it's going to be 30. And we'll do the same thing on this side. And that is given over here. So from this edge to that line is 30. And all we need now is just the distance. And that is given over here. So if you look closely, it is 6. From this line to that line, it's going to be 6. Again, we have a fully defined sketch. It looks like that. We'll come to the feature tab, Extrude Cut, and we'll say up to next. So it's cutting it all the way down, and click OK. Good. So the next thing we need to draw is we can cut the tool hole in the center. So we'll select this face and sketch, and number 2. I'm going to move it here, and we can just draw 2 circles like this. Holding down the Control key, select the center point for both circles, add a vertical relation, and select this point and your origin point, and also add a vertical relation. Let me try that again. Select this point, holding down the Control key and your origin point, and add a vertical relation. And if you look, that the center point is on the same center point as that. And since we extrude this by the midplane, so everything is passing through our origin point. And the next thing we need to do is select this circle and that circle, add the equal relation, and we can add a dimension to it. The dimension is going to be 13. And the distance, so I believe the distance is from the bottom face, so the distance will be from here. So from this edge to that point, the distance is 28. And from this point to this point, the distance is 29. So check with your instructor the way I am interpreting it, because if you look, this line which goes to that dimension goes all the way on that face. So if you look, the center point is right here and the line is under it, so it's telling me that it's going to that edge. So but you can check with your instructor because it might be to that top edge, but I think it's this. So we have a fully defined sketch. Come to Feature, Extrude Cut, and up to Next, and click OK. The next thing we need to draw is this shape. And if you look, this side is symmetrical to this side based on the center, which is 29. So there are several ways you can draw it. You can draw your sketch on this face, extrude it up, and draw those circles. But just to follow the dimension given, and also to teach you how to create new planes, let's offset a plane from this edge to the center. Then we can kind of create everything about that center. So we'll come to Reference Geometry, Plane. We'll select this face, and we want a plane going back, so we'll reverse the direction. And if we look, the distance is going to be 14. plus 19 plus half of 29, which I believe half of 29 is 14.5. So we want a plane that is in that middle. So we did the 14, which is from that edge, to plus 19 plus half of that 29, and click OK. So we have a plane in that middle, just to show you that you should have a dimension of 47.5. So now that we have our plane, we can just draw our sketch on that plane. So select that plane and sketch number 2. I'm just going to move it again. Let's draw a circle, something like this. The center point of that circle and your origin point should be vertical. So add a vertical relation. And the distance, the distance is the dimension from the bottom to the center point of that circle, which is given right here, is 51. Add a line that is from the edge of that circle coming down, and the same thing here. I'm just going to close it like that. Make sure your line is a vertical line, and make sure your line is tangent to that circle. So I select the circle and the line and add a tangent relation. Then I can trim out the bottom part because I don't need that. And we can also add a radius to our circle, and that's going to be 19. That is given right here. The radius is 19. So you should have something like this. I have something extra over there, so I'll delete it. So you should have something like this. The sketch should look like that. Then what we are going to do is we are going to go to Feature, Extrude by the mid plane, and we are going to extrude it. We are not extruding the entire thing. We are just extruding this bottom part. So that will be 29, right? This 29 plus 16, because the entire length is 19, but the outside part is 3. So we only want to extrude it up to this edge, which is 16. So it'll be 29 plus 16, right? Plus the other 16 on this side. So you should have 61 and click OK. Good. So we should have something like this. Again, we will click on that plane that we create and start another sketch. Number 2. And just draw a circle. And click that circle and click the outside edge and add a radial relation. So it means that circle is the same diameter as this circle and they are on the same edge. So once we have that, we'll come to our feature, extrude. Again, we are going to extrude it by the mid plane, and it is going to be, we can start from this side. It's going to be 19, right? Or just not to confuse you, because we are in the middle, so we can start from the middle. So it's going to be 29, right? Plus the 19 on the left, plus the 19 on the right, because we are extruding it in both directions. And click OK. So you should have 67 and click OK. Good. So we have something like this. And now, if we select this face, let's start a sketch. Number 2, going to move it. And let's draw a circle. Click that circle and click the edge and add a concentric relation. So it just means the center point of this circle is on the same center point of that edge. Then we'll add our dimension. Our dimension is going to be 19. Because you can add these two numbers together and divide it by 2, and that's going to give you 19. And we can come to Feature, Extrude Cut, up to Next, and click OK. Okay. The last thing we are going to design is cutting this piece out of this block. So to do that, let's select our right plane and sketch. And then let's draw a corner rectangle, something like that. Let's select this top line and this top edge and add a collinear relation. And let's add some dimension. So from this face to that line is 19. From that line to this line is going to be 29. Then the last part we need to do to dimension the bottom, it is telling you from the center point to the bottom is 25. So to just get the center point of this circle, what you can do is put a point over here. So click on the point and put it somewhere over here. So select the point and select the outside circular edge. So once you place your point, select the point and the outside circular edge and add a midpoint relation. And that will put that point in the center. And once you have that point in the center, so if I go number 2, it looks like this. Then I can add my dimension from the center to the bottom, which is right here. And it is 25. And we have a fully defined sketch. So that's what it looks like. Come to Feature. We'll select Extrude Cut. And it is going to be up to Next. And we can select Direction 2 and also change that to up to Next. So, or you could have drawn your sketch on this face and extrude it through all, or up to Next is the same thing, and click OK. Good. So we are almost done. We just need to create the sketch for these two features. So again, we need to create another reference plane. So we'll select this face. So you come to Reference Geometry Plane, select this face, and make sure your first reference plane should be parallel. So your plane is going to be parallel to this face. On your second plane, you are going to click this top circular edge, which is going to be tangent. So you have your first plane that is parallel to this face, and your second plane is tangent to that face, and accept that. So we'll select that second plane. We'll select that plane and sketch. We'll go number 2. Just going to move it here. We'll draw 2 circles. 1, 2. Select the center point of both circles. Make sure they are vertical to each other. Select the center point of this circle and your origin point, and make sure it's also vertical. So, because this point is on the center point of your origin point, so they are passing through the same point. So the next thing we need to do is make sure those 2 circles are equal to each other. So select both circles, holding down the Control key, add an equal relation, and the dimension is 3. So add 3. So add a dimension from this point to this edge, and you may have to rotate it a little bit just to be able to select that edge, and click once and change the dimension to 9. So that is given over here. So let me So you should have something like this. Just in case if you can't select that edge, rotate it a little bit. Rotate it a little bit so you can select it and add that dimension. And we'll do the same thing for up here. The dimension from this edge, from that center point to that edge, is going to be 9. Good. So we have a fully defined sketch. And all we are going to do is come to, I'm just making sure I have the right, no, I have the wrong dimensions on this side. So let me change it. Delete that 9. The dimension is 9 from this edge to that edge is 9. So it's 9 over here. And from this edge to that edge is 9 on this backside, and from there to there is 9. Good. We have the right one now, and we'll come to feature, extrude cut, and it is going down 12. So we change this to 12, which it does bleed through it. So we can also just say up to next, because even the 12 is going through it. So we can say up to next and click OK. And that is how you create this part. I know it took a little bit longer, but I want to show you all the steps. So we can hide this plane because we don't need them. The next thing we need to do is just add our dimension, our radius. So we know this 4 corners are 6. So we change that size to 6. And we add it to this corner, that corner, this corner, and that corner. Those are 6. Click OK. We add another fillet. The size is 3. Change the size to 3. And that will be this corner, that corner, down here. Same thing here. This corner, and this corner. And I believe this underneath too. Right? And also this edge. So that edge is 3. And click OK. And that is how you create this part. Thank you. Please leave a comment if you have any question. And thank you. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.